Hello, welcome to a quick demonstration on the requirement wherein the customer may actually need to see the written earnings. When you run a balance sheet report, that account will only show the amount at the beginning of the fiscal year, regardless of when you run or expand the balance sheet across different periods, wherein the written earnings will just be showing as the same amount, provided that there has been no journal entry on that account itself, and profit and loss account will just be accumulating as the months or the reporting periods go by. And that's somehow contrary to what we know with the other making use of the reporting periods, wherein if you're running it, for example, for this current fiscal year and expand it by month, the written earnings will be changing because the written earnings for the current month will be the written earnings prior month plus the profit and loss of that prior month. And it will just be dynamic depending on the results of operation for every period. And yep, I can just show you with this demonstration then. Yep, so with this financial report, with this balance sheet, I have this column for actual. This is for fiscal current year to date, and I'm expanding it by month. And just for demonstration purposes, with this requirement here, making use of fiscal current year through current month and making use of the period offset will achieve that. So just a disclaimer though that in order for you to have that written earnings to be consistent across all periods for the specific, let's say, current fiscal year is going to be not dynamic compared to, I cannot make use of expand by functionality. So you really have to like hard code every column. So in this case, I have current fiscal year, current month with zero prior period, which is, from July last year to end of this month, and one period prior, so until 31st of January, and so on until maybe 12 in here, 12 periods, right? So it's going to be a bit hard coded in order for us to achieve that. And let's run the report just for me to be able to show you what we're trying to achieve here visually. So let me just run that report. So it's a customized balance sheet in here. So if I run the HTML version and I'll just choose the location, which is 400, and click OK. And once the report is there, all right, so this columns is actually the fiscal current year um, to date expanded by month, while these columns are actually the hard coded ones, which is fiscal current year through current month and making use of period offset. So this one is zero period offset. This is one, which is at the end of last month, 2 months ago, and so on. All right. So what we are actually looking at would be the written earnings and the net profit and loss figure. Okay, so this is the written earnings as of the beginning of July 2023, right? And as what you can see here, and you expand it by month, then it just keeps on changing. It's all because, let's say, if we're looking at the written earnings for at the beginning of August 2023, that will be, if I just get my calculator in here, that will be the written earnings at the beginning of the prior month, which is 2,658,692.06 plus profit and loss, right? 3,772.8. So that's 2,662,464.86. And add again the result for August period, and this will be the written earnings at the beginning of September, 266 to 39.37. However, okay, so here comes the requirement of the customer we're in. Okay, so they really want to run the balance sheet financial report, but they don't want the written earnings to be like changing right? And we know that this is a standard behavior in Intact, wherein we have this like virtual close, which means that you don't need to transfer the profit and loss result to retained earnings at the end of every reporting period that you would like to see whether it's going to be like per month or per quarter or per fiscal year. You don't need to do that. So the financial report is so powerful that it does that for you. But customers may actually require wherein they really want to expand or theoretically present a balance sheet, let's say for the whole fiscal year and for every month, right? For every month big figure, but they just want the retained earnings to be consistent, meaning the retained earnings across all periods will just be the same as what you can see here, right? So that's actually the same. So if you look at this one here, retained earnings will just be the same across all periods. So this is the retained earnings at the beginning of July to 6. This is what we have as well here, right? Oops. So this is the amount here, and that's what you can see for July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February. They're just the same. So this is what the customer wants to see, that the retained earnings should really be the balance of that account at the beginning of the fiscal year, which is 2.658 million, right? And now, because of that, the net profit or loss will be the accumulation as the months progress. So look at this one here. We have 3772.8, but if we add it for the if we add the August result, which is 4774.47, you will see in here that net profit and loss for August is actually August plus um, July last year, so which is equal to 8547.27, which is just consistent, right? Because this should match with the behavior of the retained earnings because the net profit and loss is not actually transferred to the beginning balance of the retained earnings for every period, but the retained earnings stays the same. So the net profit and loss will just be moving, basically, right? Or will be changing depending, is going to be an increase or decrease depending on the result. Okay, so let's sample one more and let's add the figure for um, September and see the net profit and loss here. So this is the just the amount net profit and loss. This amount of net profit and loss for each period. But as of September, then the net profit and loss has increased to 9,288, which is what we would expect here based on the calculator. So yep. So this is just the demonstration basically that if the customer insists that yep the customer has to run the balance sheet report, but the retained earnings should not be changing per month, which is the normal behavior of Intact. But we would like, or the customer would like, that retained earnings to be like just the balance of that account at the beginning of the fiscal year, which is this one here, but the net profit and loss would be accumulating or be changing as the whatever the result of operations basically for every month and will be the cumulative amount, which is what we are actually seeing in here. So that's the distinction of making use of the, let's say, fiscal current year through to date or through current month expanded by month, which is what the Intact does, which is like a virtual close wherein the retained earnings plus the net profit and loss at the previous month will become the balance of retained earnings at the beginning of this month. But if we just make use of the fiscal current year through month with period offset per column, then it will just get the retained earnings at the beginning of the fiscal year just based on the reporting period chosen, and the net profit and loss will be accumulating accordingly. All right. Hope that gives you that context of what we're trying to achieve. And just in case as well, um, you have here the system reporting periods. So if you go to reports, setup, system reporting periods, just make sure that the applicable reporting periods, you can just click on include inactive and just activate those ones which you need, which you think will be necessary for the customer. And yeah, all those marked as inactive, you can mark them as click on activate link in there. And in our demonstration, we actually need the fiscal current year through current month. And at the moment, it's active anyways. That's why I was able to put that on my report. And yep, hopefully this quick demonstration helps. We're in, again, just to summarize, this is a requirement which is quite hard coded basically to address it. So the written earnings will not be changing across the different periods of the fiscal year chosen because the written earnings will just be the balance at the beginning of the fiscal year, while the net income or loss will be changing basically or accumulating based on the results of operations for every month just to coincide with the effect on the written earnings. Hope this quick demonstration helps. Thank you.